Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Day two of the Leeloo funded challenge. Yesterday was pretty much a scratch day while I was on stream. I ended up taking one trade after market hours. I ended up chasing the sell-off. Made some profit there. Unfortunately, I didn't catch that on stream. But what did happen on stream was we ended up scratching the day on $0, and then ended up making some profit afterwards. So now we're day two of the challenge. It's going to be a short stream today, but I don't want to let this rush me into taking trades. So we're just going to analyze the markets as usual, and take the trades as we go, analyzing order flow. I don't like to trade the first 10 minutes of the day, the first 15 minutes, sometimes even the first 20 minutes of the day even, simply because you just don't really have any structure to what's going on. As the market opens, you have a lot of overnight orders that are coming through, new orders that are coming through, and it's very difficult to determine who is in charge in terms of buyers or sellers. Um, so we're just going to watch the market, analyze what goes on, and then take our trades as we go, as we always do. So we didn't really continue the sell-off overnight. We rallied a little bit. We made new lows and then came right back up, almost testing yesterday's point of control. And now we are pretty much ranging between the overnight low and the overnight high. So very important to see how this day plays out. I think that if we break the overnight high, we could make a push to yesterday's daily session high. So some relatively low volume here at the lows. We didn't spend much time nor much volume here at the lows. The most amount of volume we saw was between 12.19 and 12.919 and 12.911, and now we're already above that. Just to see where my head is at the moment. Yep, rallying pretty hard. I do think that this rejection is a strong sign that we could break through. You have one full candle. I mean, this is a 3-minute. I don't necessarily look at candlesticks on a 3-minute. I don't necessarily analyze a doji or a hammer or full-bodied candle, but it's still nice to see a swift rejection. Straight off the bat, we have a lot of buying, right? Positive delta in the first almost 20 minutes of the market open. I am wary of a fake out over here. But technically, this should hold, right? 27s should hold if we do dip down there. If it doesn't hold, then I think we're crawled back down to at least 913. Yesterday's point of control. There's a lot of unwinding that could happen. We could easily reach 13K here right now. I think 12,975 is very, very important. That is yesterday's point of control. We break this point of control, I think we can push at least to 1392. At least 13K, and then from there we'll see what happens. But I see a nice dip. I want to maybe enter in at 50s. I think here it should pick up technically at 60, 61. I don't want to chase this though. I may have missed this one. A bit of sell-off actually. Bit of an aggressive sell-off right there. You saw that sweep that came down. Yeah, you don't want to chase something like that. You know, when you tap 74s and then you get a sweep right there. But the good thing is that we don't give a shit. Markets don't really care. It's one of those things where if you wait for a dip, you'll never get that dip. So you might just have to mark it in. But I want at least like a 10-point dip maybe, you know? I think that would probably be a better entry right here at the top of this volume node, maybe 70, 71 if we actually get there. But we're building volume on the way up. 71, right? Maybe that point of control could act as a resistance. Sorry, as a support, rather. Bummer. It is acting as support. I don't like that sweep down there. This doesn't bounce from here. I do see this coming down to 61, but that's expected. Although I don't think that 60s will hold. I don't think that 60s will hold. I feel like if we come back down to 60, I feel like it's going to try to shake out everybody before we continue higher. But yes, Nasdaq, see, ES is coming off. It's going to test its IB high. Nasdaq might also test its IB high. Can get quite dangerous here if we don't pull back. Nasdaq is lagging a little bit though. Nasdaq could be the one to push the ES higher, it seems. Yeah. They're still closely correlated, right? It's very early to say which one is leading, which one is lagging. But I do like the fact that as ES tested its previous high, Nasdaq's not even near there. So Nasdaq seems to be the stronger one of the two. The discrepancy is it's very subtle, right? It wasn't like yesterday, but it could be a clue as to how we can play this day out. See, I want to see if Nasdaq continues to push higher, will ES follow through? POC just shifted higher. There's clear interest in trading high today. Not much volume up here. Not much volume up here, but that's not too bad though, because it tells me that this rejection is not that strong. This tells me that they couldn't find the liquidity that they wanted. So if there's still interest to buy, but if they still can't find the liquidity that they wanted, then price is only going to go higher from here. Typically what you see is you see a lot of selling at these levels to try to trap shorts to come in, and then buyers step on the gas. And then what happens is that the sellers that got trapped up here hoping for a short, end up scrambling to get out, which helps push the price higher. I just don't want this taking a break right here. I don't want this testing the high and then coming off maybe 38%, 50%, and then going higher. Because the 38% would be at 940 right now, and a 50 would be at 925. We would be heavily offside if that's the case. If we're waiting for that, we should not be waiting for that. I think this rotation could probably break, shake out all the late buyers, trap in more shorts. Very possible we could do that. Seems to be holding for now, though. I think we go lower, then I'm out. Yeah, some absorption by buyers, some absorption by sellers over here. I think we could take a nice break at 40. Mark it in here. I hope that's not a fake bounce. I really hope that's not a fake bounce. Found support at the POC here on ES, but it seems to be curling right back down. Yeah, it seemed to me like it was a fake bounce, figured. Stopped out everybody who was long at 40. And now that's the true shakeout. It's possible that that could have been the true shakeout. You saw that. We go above 53, you could see me add to this trade. I want to see this go above 53, and I think we can push for highs. Yep. Take some off just in case. Don't want to see this come back down to 49. You want to see this literally pop over 63 and then continue up. I should have waited for a slight dip and then added instead of marketing in, but that's okay. This is quite aggressive here. This volume up here is very, very aggressive. I think there's some leg to this one. I think below 54 it should not come. I want to see this push for at least 85. I think you got a lot of trapped shorts here. We suckered in a lot. You shook out all the weak longs, suckered in the shorts, and I think we can push for higher. Below 54, this shouldn't be going. I'm probably going to scratch this trade, if anything. I think if we go below 54, we come off. Yeah, that's not good. Fuck, I should have taken profit there. That's okay. We were going for glory there. We were going for glory. But we got out at the perfect time. We scratched that trade, not too bad. Like I said, I think if we came back down below this volume node right here, below 54, it got really, really, really dangerous. But I did like the fact that we saw volume up here. So I kind of thought that this volume would have been enough to push higher. But the one thing is that I think this is fake. I think this is just a rally to shake out more of the longs and then continue higher, simply because we have shown a willingness to want to transact at a higher level. You can go in long at 35. Come back down. This should be the 29 should be. Don't want this to go lower than, I think, around like 25, 26. It's possible that we can come back down, push back up though, but it starts to get dangerous below 29. The thing is that if you put a stop right here, you could be selling yourself short a little bit. ES is bouncing off its VWAP. Nasdaq's off its VWAP. The thing is that I just like the aggressiveness of this up move, because we shook out a lot of buyers and then we went straight back up. But this was still not enough to make higher highs. So it's possible that we need to do the exact same thing down here. We need to shake out more weak buyers, right? We got to shake out some of the longs, and then we got to trap in more shorts. The more shorts you trap in, the higher the probability of an up move. And I think that's what the markets are trying to do right now. It's trying to shake out everybody who's going long. I got shaken out too, but I'm right back in it. So this is quite a nice structure to look at, right? Few rotations over here. We break out of this rotation. We don't want to come back in it. We just don't. It's kind of messy over here. I think you had this over here. Very interesting to note that we just bounced off that midpoint. I missed this. I should have drawn this. And we're back in this. We tried to make a push higher. We couldn't. I think this is where buyers should really defend if they really want this to go higher. We go below the 50%. It's anybody's game at that point. But the one thing I like is that we have left a selling tail. Sorry, we've left a pretty big buying tail right here. All this outside of the value area, right? We've left a buying tail trying to go higher and higher. So values, you can see that value is shifting higher and higher for now. For now, right? There's this pocket of low volume here at the IB high. I want to see us push past this low volume. I don't want to see us get rejected off of that low volume. But we're building volume over here. So it's quite possible that this volume is enough to shove to push us higher. Down bar got rejected. this downwards rotation came that was very low volume, and now we're pushing higher. Problem is, if I add to this trade, I'm shooting myself in the foot like I did last time, because it's so volatile that if you add to your trade right now, your average price gets to 50 and we can come back down below it. I want to take profits here and reanalyze. I think if we test 42s, we come back down at least to 23s. That's all right. I think I missed the second leg of this trade, but like I said, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot by not taking profit. I think I've been making this mistake in the past, and it's one of my biggest. It's one of my weaknesses where I tend to hold on for a little bit too long in a volatile market. I should just take the ticks and get out, and then reanalyze later. But reanalyzing later means that I end up taking way more trades than I should, simply because I'm getting out, I'm getting in, I'm getting out, I'm getting in, and then sometimes I'll get out with profit, I'll get in, and then I'll be straight offside, which means I give away the profits that I just took on that last trade. So there needs to be this fine balance. But this is fine. We're creating more rotations as we go higher. This is fine. ES is trying to make a push. I think ES is pushing stronger than Nasdaq right now. See, we bounce off the 50. Bouncing off the 50 targets should be at least 13K. Making a push for value area high. I don't know if it's going to be enough right now. I don't know if it's going to be enough. I think we're going to trap some more shorts, come off. Right now, actually ES might be proving me wrong. Depends on what ES does right now. If ES is pushing with a lot of conviction, Nasdaq will follow. But the thing is, Nasdaq is lagging. This could all just be one big fake out. Although it looks very, very, very tempting to want to chase this, but I don't like the chase. I don't like the chase of this. I don't see a clear breakout of this. See, if I'd gotten in, I would have been trapped and I would have been scrambling to get out. That's what a lot of people are doing right now. You can technically short this right here with a very tight stop. I don't like that structure, actually. I want to see this come off right now. I think you have a lot more trapped shorts than you have a lot more trapped longs right now. Yeah. That was my mistake. That was my mistake, and I'll tell you guys why. What I wanted to do is I wanted to go short at the retest because I thought that you had a lot more trapped longs. But the number of trapped longs was insignificant compared to the people who were trapped short down here. Damn it. we need to look at yesterday's structure. 13K could prove to be new support based on the number of times that we bounced and plus the fact that it's a 13K, right? It's a psychological number. We break past 13K, we come into this sort of consolidation right here. This is a very important consolidation at the end of the day. Midpoint of which is the IB low, so 1320. Go past 13. We go past this point of control yesterday. There's significant volume here. Maybe not as much because it was just the first 1 hour of the day yesterday. But we go past this point of control. I think we can easily reach 14K today. Sorry, what am I saying? 13,100. Wait for a slight dip. I want to wait for a slight dip below, maybe 95s. Below 13K, I want to put some bids at 95s, perhaps 97s. I think that might be realistic. Again, it's very tricky because you have to put tight stops. So you're looking for you're kind of looking for the perfect entry. And that's the tricky part. And you can't hold on too long to your trades because of the funded accounts, because of the way these funded accounts are made. Actually, with an ATR of 34, I don't like that. That's only 15 points from the high. I think with an ATR of 34, you could come off about at least 20, 25 points before you pick up. 15, 20, 25. I think 90 would be the perfect price. 90 would be a great price because it's just above the value area high and it's just above the break point over here. There is low volume here. We are creating this type of vacuum zone right here, so we can watch this out. So 13K. Very possible, actually. There are a lot of different factors when you try to look at the perfect price. So you can have a price here, 13K could be it, or it could be right here, 84, 85. On a typical day, if I wasn't trading these funded accounts, what I would do is I would go half of my orders here at 13K, half of my orders at 85K. Sorry, what am I saying? 13K and then half of my orders at 985. That way you get an average price of 92. And then your risk would be somewhere. Because if you're looking for another break higher, if you're looking for a 30, 40 point break higher, then your risk would be somewhere around an almost maybe a 2-to-1 ratio. So maybe 75 would be your stop, right? I would say 60, 65 just to be safe would be your stop. A lot of volume up here. I like this. I think this could be the ledge that we're looking for. This could be the ledge that we're looking for. Because what ends up happening, these are some of my favorite days, and I'll tell you why. It's very easy to analyze these kind of days. What ends up happening is you get this ledge over here, turns into a P-shaped profile, right? And that as you come down here, all of these guys that are trapped, right? These trapped shorts are going to start buying. They'll take any opportunity to buy, and that buying will be enough to fuel price higher. And then guys who are short here are going to start wanting to scratch their trade, so they're going to start buying as well, and that's going to be enough to fuel price higher. And then you can't forget about everybody that's stuck down here. That's why V reversals are almost never a thing. It's rare to find a full V reversal. You need to understand that if you're stuck short here, or if you're stuck short here and you're waiting for price to come back down, it's very rare that it'll come back down to your price. It's almost better, well, almost. It's actually better to just take that loss because of all these people that have to get their orders filled. You know what I'm saying? It's very unlikely simply because you have to go through everybody here. If you're stuck down here, if maybe let's just say 950 is your price and you're short at 950, right? You need to buy to get out. Okay? Now, think of all the people that are short here. They also need to buy to get out. So as price comes down, right? These guys are buying. So you get this. You get this. Comes down, you get this. Comes down, you get this. And then these guys, you have new shorts entering the market, right? So you have shorts all over here. And what ends up happening is sometimes the buying becomes too much that these shorts start to become trapped. And then it just fuels it higher and higher. So I got to shut up right now and I got to focus. No, I like this. I want to chase this. I like this price. You could see this as a rejection. Very possible. So I'm wary of that. I could be buying the dip, or I could be fueling this dip. But I think if I go short here, then I'm a fool. So you get a bounce at this level. At the very least, you can get a 10-15 point bounce. And at the best case scenario, you get higher highs. So notice that it's around this level where the imbalance started, right? That we're seeing some resistance, but we're not getting rejected heavily off of this resistance just yet, right? And it's also the low of this midpoint. So this was resistance that turned into support, and now it's turning into resistance. So it's a very key area. There's a lot of interest to trade around here. So we go higher, it's bullish. We're lower, we're bearish. But I don't want to buy above this, and I don't want to short below this, because this is value right now. This is current value. 13K seems to be current value. I don't want to be buying above value. I don't want to be shorting below value. Yesterday's value is down here, but it seems to me that we're pushing higher and higher. So we have everything that we need to want to see value push higher. So if we come down, we can test the midpoint. Sorry, if we break 13K, we can test the midpoint. If we test the midpoint and break the midpoint, we can test 16 right here, 1316. Again, like I said, you have so many people that are trapped here. So any dip you get is going to get bought, not by new buyers, but by old sellers turning into buyers, right? And then, like I said, everybody that's short here, they're waiting for the market to come down. So some of these guys are going to scratch their trade. Some of these guys are going to get stopped out, and that's why you get this fuel higher. The number of times we come back down, though, the more risky it is for bulls, because you're giving more of an opportunity for these guys trapped to get out. I want to take some profit here. I think this is a very good resistance, because two things can happen off of here, and anything can happen, but two things can happen off of here that I see quite often is that you break, right? You build volume here, you squeeze some of these people out, midpoint becomes resistance, and then we shoot lower. Or what happens is you squeeze, midpoint becomes resistance, you trap some more shorts, and then we push higher. But again, the nature of the accounts that I'm trading, these Leeloo funded accounts, it's very risky to hold your trades for long. You just want to take your profit, you want to get out. I like the structure that we're building. We're building a nice P shape. We're building a nice P shape, and we're coming on to this trend line. It's a very steep trend line, though. Take a quick look at what ES is doing. Same thing, really. Some low volume here. Is it enough to push? Can you short this? Thing is, one thing I learned yesterday was if it's a clear downtrend, don't go long. If it's a clear uptrend, don't go short. Don't go short. You need to see the signs that you want to see to fade a trend. So what are some of the signs that I want to see to start fading this trend? This needs to be broken, right? This right here needs to be broken. This right here needs to be broken. This is this. This definitely needs to be broken, right? I think that as long as we're staying above this level right here, it's bullish. The probabilities favor the bulls. You could still technically go short, right? If you want to take a bigger gamble. Once we break this, but I don't want to go short unless we break this at the very least. But even if we break this, I might still end up going long. We could see another bounce off 80, 85s. I took a punt based on the fact that there wasn't much volume. But then once I got into the trade, I saw volume building. %38 is 960, which is VPOC. But I want to see off of this swing low. 38% is right here. Could be 50% off of here. Could be 71 would be the better entry if that's the case. If you're looking, if 38% breaks, 71 would be the last defense line for these guys. Perfect bounce. Perfect reaction. Now that's not to say that we're just going to go up from here, but you saw that was a perfect reaction. Now this is the interesting part. Are we going to go above 90? Am I going to hold this above 90? Okay, we retested it again. Are we going to break it though? If we break it, then I got to get out. But if we're still hovering around this area, then the trade is still good. We're building more volume here. It's fine. That's fine. That's fine. This is not that strong. There's still resistance by the way it's coming down. You see it? There's still resistance. It's fine. POC is fine. Let's come back up here, up this rotation, 72. We go above 72. We can go at least to 84s. Come on, come on. No. Structure's looking dangerous if you're long. You see these rotations up are going in with very low volume. Here, we had a very strong down move. This came up on low volume, and we got swiftly rejected with strong volume. This came up on low volume. We got swiftly rejected, but this rejection is not was not that it wasn't that big, right? We did have significant volume, but look, we barely made lows, a new low. And now we're coming off. So this rotation clearly wants to push higher. Clearly wants to push higher. This is on sellers to defend right here. See, now we're building volume on this up rotation. If we reverse, we have to reverse from here. If we continue lower, then I think this breaks if we continue lower. If you're short, you want to add here. If you're long, you want to add somewhere around here, and you want to get out 56, 57. It's an aggressive sell-off. Bummer. So one of the setups that I like that I do see often is that when we break this IB high and we make a full one-to-one extension, right? So one-to-one extension is pretty much the distance between the IB low and the high, and we make the same distance extension between the IB high and then the new high. If we get rejected and we come back down below this IB high, the probability of testing the IB low becomes significantly higher. I see this a lot. So we either defend over here, or if we break this, you can take the short to continue all the way down here. We broke this trend line. Are we going to create a new trend line though? Right? Too early to tell. Too early to tell. But I see some resistance going on over here. I see some volume being built. I think if you're in the camp that... So one thing that I like is that we have a lot of trapped sellers here. So this shakeout could be seen as necessary if we want to go higher. Down. We break 68, we're going to test 76. But you see that resistance at 68, it's crazy. These midpoints, they're so good. They're so good. If you know how to draw them, they provide you a lot of information. Breaking 68. That's great. We tested 68, we got rejected, but I want to see a bit more push above 71, 70, 71, 72. We can test 76. Build more volume here, though. I want to see us build more volume here. I don't want this to be a trap. '90s could be tested. We break 76, '90s could be tested, but I think that if we test 90, then at that point we're going to have a lot of trapped shorts here as well. And I think these guys start to sweat because then they start to see their profits dwindle, so their trailing stops get hit. Yeah, we break this with conviction, we can easily break 90. And just keep in mind when I say we can easily break it, like anything can happen. This is just what I'm thinking. I am wrong a lot of the times, but I feel like I also make some really good calls. I think this is one you hold. This is the type of trade that you hold. Watch me get out. Watch me get out. But strong bar. This is a strong bar that should not get contested. Like this is such a strong rotation bar with volume, man. Like 6K volume. This should not come back down. Like you can consider this as like the bar that sets the tone, right? And if this is the bar, then coming down below the bar is very bearish. This could have been considered as the bar as well, right? This bearish bar on 4.6K volume. This was the bar as well, right? The bar, funny. So we broke this bar, this big bar. These guys couldn't defend. And then we just came down, right? These bullish to bearish types of bars. Can midpoint get contested and then we go? You can add to your trade here if you want. Add to your trade. Your stop is down here, but that's too much of a risk for me. I don't want to. Because if I add to my trade and if this is my stop, then it's quite a large stop. So my risk management will be all off. This is getting contested, but look at the volume on this though. Not that much. This should have been the bar. You see, if I added on to this trade, I would have been heavily offside here on size. Well, size, fuck, not really, but like relative size, you know? It's not over yet. I mean, we came down on low volume, so technically, we went up on high volume, came down on low volume, so you never know, right? Buyers could easily step in here with their limit orders and provide that liquidity that sends us higher. Conveniently enough, this was that 50%, almost 60%. The way this is behaving, I really don't like it. This is shaking out people all over the place. Majority of the volume is down here. Some absorption going on, but it could also mean that there's some interest to trade lower. This bar got fully retraced. We need to see this pick back up. $6K volume met with equal $6K volume, and then you got a rotation. You got an up rotation now. Buyers definitely absorbing this zone, trying to push it higher. Massive range here. A 40-point range. Getting a big rejection here now, or what? This does not bode well. 54 is the new resistance. So now we have this structure that we can look to break 987s. Hey, Effie. Doing all right, I guess. I mean, it's been kind of a tricky day. I've been trying to buy this dip, and I keep getting stopped out. It's been a bit of a tricky day. How about yourself? I'm gonna have to call it soon, though. It's gonna be a short stream for me today. This can get tricky here for bears. Something that I noticed that I lost on, that I think is quite interesting, is this big rotation here. And so I kind of bet that we would break it, in the sense that I kind of bet that this would be the bar that brings us to new highs. You had this down bar, and then you have this massive big up bar, right? Oh, what happened here? So this big rotation, right? This is a candle of about, let's see, 44 to 80, almost 40 points, right? But what ended up making it bearish was that the next bar broke it right away. You know, so this kind of told me that bulls were no longer in control. Now I wonder if we reverse right off of this here. We made an attempt. We came back down on low volume. I want to see if we can make an attempt higher from here. Very tricky day, man. Very tricky day. Yeah, I'm not down too badly though. I've been trading with small size, so it's really not that bad. My winners are a lot bigger than my losers. So, I mean, end of the day, I do end up netting out, but um, I tend to overtrade a little bit. I've been getting a lot better though. I've been taking about 3 to 4 trades a day. Try to be a bit more selective with my trades, but looking at this right here, I'm hoping this breaks. This we can remove. You have this little downtrend in a bigger uptrend day. This 50% seems to be holding quite well. We got rejected off of this trend line here, but if we keep testing this trend line, I think we can have a very nasty rally. We've seen that a couple times yesterday. Well, sort of. But this was a down day though, In an uptrend day or in a day that kind of looks like it wants to go up, these types of setups are really, really nice. We'll break out of this. 13K could be a target right here from this trade. This could be a big trade. Slowly building volume. We'll see though. We'll see. I'm gonna have to close the stream in about 5 minutes, or what I can do is I can keep the stream on, but I won't really be able to interact with you. I don't want to see this come back down on the trend line. Like, I don't want to see this come back down below, right? And but this could be. This has potential. This has potential to break 85. If you break 85, it has easy potential to go back to 13K. Right, but we take it one step at a time. We go past this imbalance right here, this little purple this purple bar. It's a very good sign. A lot of things to watch out for though. I don't want to see this get rejected. Here, technically speaking, if you're a wick drawer, we haven't broken this trend line on ES. See? If you're following the ES and if Nasdaq's following the ES, then we haven't really broken this trend line. So this could be one trap. Fucking hell, you see that? Wow. That was really aggressive. All right, F. I hope you have a good day, man. I'll see you tomorrow.